Have you ever looked in the mirror and asked yourself, why do I know exactly what I should do, but still do not do it? You know you are capable. You know you have potential. You know you were not born to live an average life, and yet when opportunity appears, you hesitate. When something needs to be done, you step back. When your motivation disappears, you delay. When fear rises, you stop. Not because you are weak, not because you are incapable, not because you are less than anyone else. The real reason, it is because you have never learned how to act as if you were already the best version of yourself. Not when you succeed, not when everything is easy, but right in the moment when you are struggling, doubting, and feeling unworthy. Here is the uncomfortable truth. You are not lacking confidence. You are lacking a version of yourself that stands up and leads your own life. You are not lacking potential. You are lacking the discipline to turn that potential into real strength. You are not lacking opportunity. You are only lacking the first step that a true warrior is always willing to take. You once told yourself, when I get better, I will start. When I am ready, I will take action. When I feel confident, I will step out. But the Stoics do not live that way. The Stoics know this. You take action first. Confidence comes afterwards. Discipline comes first. Results come afterwards. Identity shapes action, and action shapes identity. Think about this. No one becomes the best by waiting for the perfect moment. If Muhammad Ali had waited until he felt no fear, he would never have stepped into the ring. If Marcus Aurelius had waited for complete inner peace, he would not have been able to lead an entire empire. If you keep waiting for confidence, you will wait your whole life. The moment you decide to take action without needing your emotions to support you, that is the day you step into the 1%. But the reason you are here right now is because you have already felt that truth deep inside yourself. You know you have been holding yourself back. You know you have been letting comfort kill the rise of your strongest self. You know you are not afraid of failure. You are only afraid of seeing your truly powerful self. Because from that moment on, you will no longer have excuses to hide behind. You are living between two powerful opposing forces, comfort versus discipline. Comfort holds you back. Discipline pulls you into your future. Every morning, every time you want to delay, every moment you choose what is easy instead of what is right, you are choosing the life you will live 10 years from now. It is not your quality that determines your future. It is the small choices you repeat over and over that become who you are. And now, look at the path you have taken. Why are you watching this video? Why did you choose Stoic content instead of shallow? Entertainment? Why do you care about discipline, self-control, and inner strength? Because deep inside you, a warrior is waking up. A part of you knows this. You were not born to be like everyone else. You were born to stand tall, to take control of your life, to let no one, not even fear, decide for you. But before you can become the best, you must dare to act as if you already are the best. Not because you are pretending to be strong, but because you are training your mind, forging your identity, and building strength that no one can ever take away. Imagine your day if you acted like the best version of yourself. You start immediately, without needing motivation. You keep promises to yourself, even the smallest ones. You do not explain, do not ask for permission, do not wait for recognition. You enter the day as if you carry the mission of a warrior. What would change? Your career, your discipline, your self-respect, your belief in yourself, or maybe everything? Today, you will hear 5 Stoic truths that will help you act as if you are the best, not to show off, but to build an unshakable version of yourself. And before we continue, if you want to mark the moment you start acting seriously, leave one affirmation for like an oath to yourself. Drop this. I act like the strongest version of myself. Comment it as a starting ritual. Because from this moment forward, your life will no longer operate the same way. Before entering the 5 Stoic truths that will change the way you take action for the rest of your life, you need a strong foundation, a mindset powerful enough to stop every excuse you have ever used to delay yourself. Because if you do not understand the root, you will hear this video as nothing more than a beautiful speech. But if you understand the foundation of Stoicism, you will hear it as mental training for a warrior. And that foundation begins with this truth: your mind is the empire you must rule first. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and philosopher, wrote in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." He was not saying it to others. He was reminding himself every single day, in the middle of battlefields, responsibilities, and pressures that no one in the modern world can even imagine. If a man who carried the weight of the Roman Empire had to remind himself of this, what about us? You're not weak. You just have not taken command of your own mind. As modern neuroscience progresses, research leads to a conclusion identical to Aurelius's words. Action comes before emotion. Discipline comes before confidence. Awareness comes before change. Researchers from Stanford University show that the brain does not distinguish between "I am a confident person" and "I am doing the actions of a confident person." It only looks at repeated behavior. You do something strong, your brain concludes you are strong. You delay, your brain concludes you are weaker. You keep a small promise, your brain reinforces the identity of someone disciplined. You break a promise. Your brain labels you as someone who cannot be trusted. Emotion does not determine action. Action determines emotion. But why do most people fail? Because they understand everything in the opposite direction. They want to feel ready before they act. They want to feel confident before stepping out of their comfort zone. They want to feel strong before they begin something difficult. However, the Stoics do not wait for feelings. They create feelings through action. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do." He did not say, "Think about becoming." He said, "Define yourself and then act according to that identity." This is the essence of every transformation. You act like the version you want to become before you actually become it. You do not wait for confidence. You build it through action. You do not wait for the world to validate you. You validate yourself through discipline. You do not wait for the perfect moment. You turn any moment into your starting point. And ordinary people fail not because they lack talent or intelligence. They fail because they trust their temporary emotions instead of trusting the long-term power of action. Emotion says, rest. Do what is easy first. Wait until you feel motivated. But discipline says, do it right now. Do the hard thing. Act as if you were the best. Every day you stand between these two voices. One voice pulls you into comfort. One voice pushes you into your strongest self. This battle is not fought on a battlefield. It happens in your mind. Every hour, every minute. The more you listen to comfort, the weaker you become. The more you listen to discipline, the stronger you become. And the most important truth, what you repeat daily becomes your identity. Not your dreams, not your hopes, not your emotions, but the smallest action you do consistently. That is why the Stoics focus only on things within your control. You may not control outcomes, but you control your effort. You control your discipline. You control your reaction to difficulty. And most importantly, you control your action right now. Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." We do not suffer because of real hardship. We suffer because of the negative stories we imagine about hardship. You fear failure before even starting. You fear judgment before anyone says a word. You fear not being good enough before giving yourself a chance to prove that you are. And so you lock the door that leads to your strongest self. But today, in this moment, you are being invited to walk through that door. You are being invited to see life through the eyes of a Stoic. No vague feelings, no unrealistic hopes, no blaming circumstances, only action, only discipline, only the version of yourself you choose to become. If you truly want to act like the best, you need a foundation, wisdom to see the truth, discipline to move without hesitation, and the identity of a warrior, someone who refuses to let anything external control their inner world. You are about to enter the 5 Stoic truths that will reset the way you act every single day. And if your heart is beating a little faster right now, that is not an accident. That is the instinct of the warrior inside you waking up. Before we continue, affirm this to yourself. Drop this. I control my mind. I control my life. Comment it as a mental oath. Because from this moment on, you are no longer watching a video. You are training. You are preparing to walk a path meant only for the 1%, those strong enough to do what is right, even when their mind does not want to. Truth 1, you are not lacking confidence, you are lacking evidence for your confidence. Have you ever felt like this? You know you can do more, but there is some invisible force inside that keeps pulling you back. You know you want to change, but you feel like something is missing before you can start. You know you have the ability, but in your head, that familiar sentence keeps echoing, I am not good enough yet. Pause for a moment and look straight at this truth. You are not lacking confidence, you are only lacking evidence to believe in yourself. Human beings do not act based on emotion alone. We act based on what we believe we are capable of doing. So where does that belief come from? Not from words, not from temporary bursts of motivation. It comes from the actions you have already taken, especially the difficult ones. The philosopher Epictetus once said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish. His point is very clear. If you want to become strong, you must step out of your comfort zone. If you want real confidence, you must do hard things before you feel ready. And this is where many people get it wrong. They think confidence is a feeling, but confidence is not a feeling. Confidence is a system of evidence. A confident person is not confident because they feel powerful. They are confident because they have so much evidence that they have stood up before, done difficult things before, faced fear before, and kept promises to themselves before. Now look at modern life. When you see a successful person, they are calm, decisive, and walk into every situation as if they have everything under control. You might think they are lucky, gifted, or born strong. They are not. They simply have one thing that you do not have yet, a huge amount of data from all the times they took action while other people quit. Confidence does not come from shouting affirmations in the mirror. It comes from those moments when you do the hard thing, even when you do not feel like it. It comes from the mornings when you keep working, even when your emotions are fighting against you. It comes from the days when you are not perfect, but you still move one step forward. You are not truly insecure. You have just forgotten your small victories. You have forgotten the times you overcame difficulty. You have forgotten the times you took responsibility. You have forgotten the times you were more persistent than you believed. You only remember the times you failed to do something. And because the brain is designed to notice the negative more than the positive. But that is all right. You can rebuild your own system of evidence, starting right now. Imagine two people who both set a goal to run every morning. The first person tries to run 5 kilometers on the very first day, gets exhausted, burns out, and quits on the third day. The second person only runs for 5 minutes a day, but does it consistently for 30 days. Who will be more confident? The second person, not because that person is more talented, but because that person has evidence that they keep their promises, evidence that they are consistent, evidence that they do not need motivation in order to take action. That is why the Stoics always emphasize training the mind, not to become perfect, but to build inner strength through the smallest actions. And here's something you can do right now. Choose one thing you are avoiding, just one small thing, and do it for exactly 5 minutes. Do not stretch it out. Do not try to make it perfect. Do not wait for the right feeling. You can clean your desk. You can send a message to the person you keep hesitating to talk to. You can open your laptop and type a short paragraph. 5 minutes. That is all. This action will not change your entire life in one day, but it will change the way you see yourself. It sends a new signal to your brain. We are the kind of person who does what we say we will do. It is a small signal, but extremely important, because if this signal is repeated every day, it will become your new identity. A strong identity creates strong actions. Strong actions create strong evidence. Strong evidence creates what you're calling confidence. Ask yourself this: If every day you put all your willpower into just one small action, what would your life look like after 1 year? What would your career look like? What would your discipline look like? How different would the way you speak, work, and show up in front of others become? The most powerful part is that you do not need to change your entire life. You only need to change how you act in the smallest moments. You do not need to run a marathon. You only need to take one more step. You do not need to do 100 things in a day. You only need to do one important thing. You do not need to become perfect. You only need to become trustworthy in your own eyes. And starting today, see every action you take as one piece of evidence. No need to show off. No need for anyone else to know. Only you know. And that alone is enough to change everything. When you have enough evidence, confidence will quietly rise on its own as the natural result. No noise, no bragging, no shouting slogans. Just the calm certainty of someone who knows they can do anything they have decided to do. Remember this: confidence does not come first, action comes first, confidence comes after. Finally, leave one affirmation as your way of confirming that your journey of building evidence begins today. Drop this: I build evidence every day. Truth 2, you are not lacking worth. You are just letting other people decide your worth. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, how many times have you looked at your own decision but then turned to wait for someone else to approve it? How many times have you done something good but only felt proud when someone praised you? How many times have you missed opportunities simply because you were afraid of what others might think? You are not lacking worth. You have just gotten used to living by the value that other people place on you. We live in a time where one negative comment can ruin your mood for an entire week. One cold look can make you doubt yourself. One criticism can completely shut down the motivation you spent months building. But remember the words of Marcus Aurelius: we love ourselves more than other people, yet we care more about their opinion than our own. That is the exact paradox that makes millions of people lose their true sense of worth. You were born with a unique potential, but you grew up in a society that teaches you your worth depends on how many people like you, how many compliments you receive, and how often you are recognized. Then you start living to please everyone. You hide your strengths because you fear being judged. You hold back your ambition because you fear being called arrogant. You shrink yourself because you are afraid of being too different. But here is the truth. No one is responsible for seeing your worth. Only you can do that. A person who constantly doubts themselves is not weak. They have just allowed others to decide their worth for far too long. It is like a mirror covered in dust. The image underneath is still beautiful, but you can no longer see it. You have not lost your worth. You have only lost sight of it. When you care too much about other people's opinions, you hand over the power to shape your life. You let their eyes decide what you will pursue. You let their words decide whether you dare to move forward. You let their judgment decide whether you feel strong or feel small. Yet that judgment often comes from people who know nothing about you. They do not know what you have gone through. They do not understand the pain you have carried. They do not see the nights you tried in silence. So why would you give them the power to define your worth? Worth is something only you can create and protect. Look at the modern world. There are people who are very talented but rate themselves far too low because they focus only on criticism and ignore every compliment. There are people who are very ordinary but incredibly confident because they focus on progress, not on other people's opinions. There are people whose careers are average but they live like warriors because they believe in what they're doing. And there are people who have every advantage yet spend their whole life in fear because they have never defined their own worth. You see, worth does not come from the world. Worth comes from how you choose to see yourself. Epictetus once said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your permission." It sounds simple, but this is one of the most powerful truths. You cannot control what others think, but you can fully control whether you accept it or not. So how do you reclaim your worth? The first step is to take back the authority, no longer letting other people's eyes control you, no longer letting their words shake you, no longer letting the outside world decide your inner world. The second step is to recognize your own progress. What have you gone through? What have you overcome that others could never fully understand? What skills, habits, and strengths are you quietly ignoring in yourself? If you look closely, you will see a lot of proof that you are not ordinary at all. But because you live in an environment of constant comparison, you forget that. You compare yourself to someone who has 10 more years of experience. You compare your starting point to someone else's finish line. You compare your real, steady progress to the unrealistic expectations you put on yourself. And that comparison is exactly what convinces you that you are not worthy. The Stoics have a very deep principle. Your worth lies in what's under your control. That is the core of Stoic philosophy. You do not control how people look at you. You do not control their praise or their criticism. You do not control society's expectations, but you control what you do every day. You control how you speak to yourself. You control how you respond to the world. And when you focus on what you control, you do not just reclaim your worth, you strengthen it. Do something simple right now. Write down 3 things you do better than the version of you from 1 year ago. Just 3. Maybe you are more disciplined. Maybe you are calmer. Maybe you have done something hard that you used to be afraid of. These 3 things are solid evidence of the worth you have built for yourself. No one can take them away from you. No one can deny them. This is how you begin rebuilding your inner worth, without noise, without trying to impress anyone, without chasing anyone's approval. It is simply you seeing yourself more clearly, more honestly, more powerfully. Now ask yourself, if you stop caring about unnecessary opinions, if you focus only on the right actions, if you truly believed in your own worth, who would you become after 6 months? How differently would you speak? How boldly would you act? Would you finally live your life instead of living the life that society has boxed you into? And here is the most important part. You do not need anyone's permission to be strong. You do not need anyone to approve your worth. You do not need anyone to agree with the path you choose. You only need yourself. From this moment on, declare this as your statement. I do not give anyone the power to decide my worth. Leave this affirmation as a milestone. Drop this. I define my worth. Truth. 3. Confidence comes from keeping promises to yourself. Look deeply into the root of your lack of confidence. It is not because you are weak. It is not because you are less than other people. It is not because you do not have talent. The biggest reason you lack confidence is that you have broken too many promises to yourself. You promise you will wake up early, but you hit the snooze button. You promise you will work out today, but you push it to tomorrow. You promise you will start that project, but you curl back into your familiar comfort. You promise you will change, but you keep living exactly the same way. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you lose a piece of the respect you have for yourself. And when you no longer respect yourself, how can you possibly trust yourself? Seneca once wrote, "The strongest person is the one who has control over himself." This is not only about emotions or behavior, it is also about the ability to keep your word. Keeping your word to others is integrity. Keeping your word to yourself is power. In modern life, we learn how to complete tasks for other people, but we easily abandon the tasks that belong to us. You show up on time for work, but you skip your personal workout. You submit deadlines for your job, but you delay your own goals for an entire year. You try hard so that you do not disappoint others, but you accept disappointing yourself. Do you see the paradox here? You respect everyone except yourself. And from there, your identity slowly becomes distorted. You start to see yourself as someone who does not stick with things, someone who does not have discipline, someone who talks a lot but does little. But none of those identities are the truth. They are only the result of a repeated habit of breaking your own promises. Identity is not something you are born with. Identity is something you train through the smallest actions you take every day. When you break promises again and again, you build a weak identity. When you keep your word, even with one small thing, you build a strong identity. The Stoics understand this clearly, so they do not focus on the question, do I feel like doing this or not? They focus on, what did I promise myself, and did I follow through or not? Do you know what is amazing? You do not need a big victory in order to regain your confidence. You only need one small promise that you actually keep. Imagine you promise yourself that you will read for 10 minutes each day, just 10 minutes, not much, nothing flashy. But if you do it over and over for 30 days, you will begin to look at yourself differently. You will see that you have discipline. You will see that you are trustworthy. You will see that you are in control of yourself. That is the unshakable foundation of confidence. Confidence does not come from appearance. It does not come from talent. It does not come from compliments. It does not come from luck. Confidence comes from knowing clearly, when I say I will do something, I do it. That is a quiet kind of strength. No bragging, no drama. Just the self-respect of someone who does not betray himself. Look at the world today, and you will see many people talk about motivation, but what they lack is not motivation. What they lack is consistency. You may not always control your emotions, but you can always control your actions. You may not always control your circumstances, but you can always keep the promises you make to yourself. And that is the clear line between two groups of people, those who live by emotion and those who live by discipline. Those who live by emotion are strong for one day, then collapse the next. Those who live by discipline move forward little by little, but they never stop. Every powerful version of yourself is built from very small tasks. It might be walking for 10 minutes. It might be drinking enough water. It might be cleaning your desk. It might be turning off your phone while you work. These small actions will not change your entire life in 24 hours, but they will change the way you see yourself. And that is where real power comes from. Now, do something simple but extremely important. Choose one small promise you can keep in the next 24 hours. Not a big promise, not a huge goal, just something simple like work out for 5 minutes, read 2 pages of a book, drink enough water, organize one small corner of your room. When you complete it, you are not just finishing a task. You are sending a new signal into your brain. I am trustworthy. I am capable. I keep my word. I act like a strong person. And this shift matters more than the result of the action itself. It is the first step in rebuilding the strong identity that you lost through all the broken promises in the past. Think about this. If you keep one small promise every day, you will keep 365 promises in 1 year. And no one can keep 365 promises and still live a mediocre life. No one, because your self-respect rises, your confidence rises, your ability to face difficulty rises, your mind becomes steadier, your body becomes stronger, everything moves upward. One small promise each day can change the way you see the world and the way the world sees you. And finally, ask yourself this: if from today forward I do not break any promise to myself, who will I become after 3 months? After 6 months? After 1 year? Will I even recognize myself? The answer lies in the action you choose today. Mark this shift with a clear affirmation. Drop this: I honor my promises. Truth. 4. Strong action does not need strong emotion. There is one false belief that has made millions of people miss out on their strongest self. The belief that in order to take strong action, you must feel strong. That in order to start, you must feel inspired. That in order to maintain discipline, you must be in a good mood. That in order to achieve something big, you must feel positive all the time. No, the truth is the exact opposite. Most of the important moments in your life, you will not feel ready. You will not feel good enough. You will not feel in the right mood. But that does not mean you cannot do what is right. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Good actions do not require perfect conditions, they require the right timing." The Stoics understand this deeply. They do not use emotion as fuel. They use discipline as the standard. They do not ask, "How do I feel?" They ask, "What is the right thing to do right now?" We live in an age that worships feelings. Feelings must be positive. Feelings must be comfortable. Feelings must be pleasant. If it is not pleasant, we stop. If we are not excited, we delay. If we do not have the mood, we give up. But the 1% do not live like that. They act without needing emotion, because they understand one very important truth. Emotion is a variable. Action is a constant. Emotions change based on the day, the weather, the pressure, and even tiny events. But the right action is always within your control. Look at your everyday life. There are mornings when you wake up full of energy and you work at an amazing pace. But there are also mornings when you just want to lie down for 5 more minutes, then 5 more minutes, and then the whole morning passes with nothing done. If you live according to how you feel that morning, your day will be dragged in a completely different direction. But if you live according to discipline, you can stabilize your results no matter whether your mood is up or down. Do you know what separates a warrior from an ordinary person? Not strength, not intelligence, not talent. It is the ability to act even when they do not want to. There are athletes who step onto the field with pain in their bodies, but they still compete. There are entrepreneurs who walk into meetings with pressure stacked on their shoulders, but they still make the right decisions at the right time. There are people who work while their mood is terrible, but the work still gets done. It is not because they are lucky. It is because they do not use their feelings as the standard for their behavior. Seneca wrote, "What weakens us is not the challenge itself, but the way we think about the challenge." Have you noticed this? When you tell yourself something is hard, it becomes harder. When you tell yourself that you are not in the mood, your mood drops even more. When you tell yourself that you need inspiration, it becomes impossible to start. Emotion does not only reflect your action, it is also controlled by your thoughts. But if you flip the system, everything changes. You act first, emotion follows. That is how strong people operate. Think about this. You do not need a strong feeling to brush your teeth. You do not need a strong feeling to open a door. You do not need a strong feeling to take a step. You do those things automatically because you have programmed yourself to act first and let emotion come later. The same principle can absolutely apply to working out, studying deep work, discipline, and building your career. The problem is that you have not turned them into habits yet. You still allow your emotions to lead instead of letting your actions lead. If you only act when you feel like it, you will never achieve anything big. But if you act like someone who is not dependent on emotion, you will break out of the procrastination loop immediately. To see this more clearly, look at a simple example. You want to exercise every day. On some days, you feel excited. You turn on music. You start right away. But on other days, you are tired, sluggish, and in a bad mood. That is the day that matters most, not because you will train harder, but because you prove to yourself that you are stronger than your feelings. That is the moment your identity is rewritten. You are no longer the type of person who only works when there is a vibe. You are the type of person who works because it is the right thing to do, and that identity is what creates real progress. Now let us talk about immediate action. Choose one thing you do not enjoy doing, but you know it will make you stronger. Maybe it is cleaning your desk. Maybe it is sending an important email. Maybe it is finishing a task you have avoided for an entire week. Do not try to do it perfectly. Just do it for 10 minutes. No emotions, no overthinking, no hesitation. These 10 minutes will send a very powerful signal to your mind. I take action even when I am not in the mood. Emotion does not control me. I am stronger than my immediate reactions. You do not need to change your entire day. You only need to change the first moment. The moment you choose action instead of waiting for emotion is the moment you become different. And now ask yourself, if from today on, I act first and let emotion come later, what will happen after 3 months, after 6 months, after 1 year? Who will I become? Someone who lets feelings lead the way, or someone who lets discipline lead the way? The answer will decide your entire future. To mark this shift, leave a clear affirmation. Drop this: I act regardless of mood. Truth 5, the best are not more confident than you, they are just quieter than you. There is a truth that very few people want to face. You are not behind the best because of talent. You are not behind because of opportunity. You are not behind because of ability. The only thing you are behind in is the noise inside your own head. You think too much. You analyze for too long. You create too many imaginary scenarios. You picture every possible risk before you even give yourself a real chance to try. You let unnecessary questions kill your decisiveness. Should I do it? Am I good enough? What if I am wrong? What if someone laughs at me? And while you are still running in circles in your mind, someone else has already started. You do not lose in reality. You lose in your thinking. Epictetus once said, if you want to be a writer, write. This sounds simple, but it is the way of life of people who do not let their mind block their path. They do not wait for inspiration. They do not wait for recognition. They do not wait for perfection. They just do the thing. And by doing it, they become it. What about you? You know you should work out, but you let a wave of thoughts jump in. I am tired. I do not have time. The weather's bad today. I can do it tomorrow. I always start and then quit halfway. You know you should start that important project, but your mind says, I need to research more. I need to prepare more. I am not skilled enough. It is not the right time yet. You know you should step out of your comfort zone, but you calm yourself with delay. Wait for a better opportunity. Wait until I feel more confident. Wait until everything's more stable. But you forget this. The mind will always have reasons to stop you. That is its nature. It was built to protect you from discomfort, from risk, from pressure. So if you want to become your strongest self, you cannot listen to every single voice in your head. The best are not that different from you. They also get tired. They also worry. They also fear failure. They also fear judgment, but they choose silence. They stay silent toward their worries, silent toward their doubts, silent toward their overcomplicated thoughts. They let their actions speak instead of their emotions. That is why they look so certain, not because they are not afraid, but because they do not let fear speak. Look at real life. A person decides to go to the gym, not because they have absolute belief in themselves. They decide because they know their body is stronger than their hesitant mind. A person dares to speak in front of a crowd, not because they are not nervous. They dare because they choose to be silent toward the fearful voice in their head. Person dares to start a business not because they are sure they will succeed. They dare because they know that overthinking will only cost them 1 year, 2 years, or even their entire life. Now look back at yourself. How many times have you clearly known what the right thing to do was, but allowed your thoughts to pull you in another direction? How many times did you lose not because you took the wrong action, but because you did not act at all? How many times did you procrastinate not because you were weak, but because you were crushed by the noise in your head? The best do not have a perfect mind. They simply train one extremely powerful skill, the skill of staying silent in front of useless thoughts. Stoic philosophy teaches something very deep. You cannot control which thoughts appear, but you can control whether you listen to them or not. Think about this. You do not need to get rid of every negative thought. You cannot. The mind will always create noise, but you have the power not to answer it, not to react to it, not to let it pull you away from action. Inner silence is not the absence of thought. Inner silence is the ability to ignore the thoughts that make you weaker. You do not need to answer every question in your head. You do not need to solve every worry. You do not need to analyze every detail. You only need to begin. Just begin. When you begin, your mind starts to quiet down. When you do the right thing, fear decreases. When you take action, you cut the circuit of overthinking. That is why action is always stronger than emotion. Now do the most important exercise in the section. Choose one thing that you are currently overthinking, something you know you need to do, but you keep sitting there analyzing it. Write it down and start doing it for 5 minutes. Do not allow yourself to think more. Do not allow yourself to delay. 5 minutes of focus. That is enough to break the cycle of your mind. Remember this, the mind is very good at creating problems. Action is very good at solving problems. The best are not the ones who think the least. They are the ones who do not let their thinking stop their actions. Now ask yourself this, if from today, I simply stay silent toward every unnecessary fear. If I just act on what is right without arguing with myself, who will I become after 6 months? Who will I become after 1 year? Will I even recognize the version of me that exists right now? You already know the answer. To end this part, leave an affirmation, like a promise to yourself that you will stay silent toward the thoughts that drag you down and move according to what is right. Drop this, I silence doubt and move. You have come this far, not by accident, not by mistake, not just to listen to another motivational video and then live exactly the same way. If you have stayed until this part, it means there is something inside you that most people do not have, a seed of strength. A will that is rising, a part of your warrior instinct that has been awakened. Ordinary people quit at the 5th minute. The weak run away when the truth becomes hard to hear. Those who live by emotion turn off the video when their feelings are no longer comfortable, but you are still here, still listening, still absorbing every word like someone who is training their mind to step out onto the battlefield. That says more about you than you realize. You're no longer the person who only wants to change. You are becoming the person who is willing to pay the price to change. That is the line that separates the 99% and the 1%. Earlier, you heard about action, discipline, control of the mind, inner silence, and confidence built on evidence. But now you are not just listening anymore. You are starting to see something much deeper. You do not just need to act like the best. You are beginning to become the best. From the moment you choose discipline over comfort, your identity changes. From the moment you keep your word to yourself, your self-respect grows stronger. From the moment you stay silent toward the voice of doubt, you take back control. From the moment you choose to act without relying on emotion, you climb to a new level. This is no longer about building habits. This is about building identity. Look directly at who you are today. You might not be your strongest self yet. You might not have reached your goals yet. You might not be where you want to be yet, but you are no longer the person you used to be. The person you were yesterday lived by emotion. The person you were yesterday delayed because things were hard. The person you were yesterday doubted themselves. The person you were yesterday listened more to the noise than to their deeper calling. The person you are in this exact moment is different. You are more awake. You understand yourself more. You recognize the value of discipline. You can see clearly the hidden strength you have ignored for too long. And if you pay attention, you will feel something. There is a new energy rising inside you, not a short burst of excitement, but the feeling that you are becoming a new person, a more stable person, a more grounded person, a person who is not led by emotion, a person who can stand alone and still be strong. That is the identity of a warrior. A warrior is not someone who has no fear. A warrior is someone who knows they are afraid, but moves forward anyway. A warrior is not someone who has no doubt. A warrior is someone who looks doubt in the eye and says, I am still moving. A warrior is not someone who is always confident. A warrior is someone who builds confidence through every right action. You are becoming a warrior in the true Stoic sense, not by shouting, not by showing off, not by burning passion, but by clarity, steadiness, and quiet strength. A warrior does not need to say, I am strong. A warrior only needs to do what the weak are unwilling to do. Look at yourself right now. You are doing something that 99% of people do not do. You are facing the truth. You are taking off your armor. You are looking at your weakest parts without running away. You are touching your fear and letting it dissolve in the light of awareness. That is why you belong to a different group, a group the world rarely sees, a group that does not need applause, a group that does not need anyone's approval, a group that only needs one thing, its own growth. Imagine looking at yourself after 6 months. No more days thrown away to procrastination. No more mornings where emotions lead your schedule. No more promises broken. No more meaningless worries. No more thoughts that drag you down. There is only one version left. The version you are building right now with every single sentence you are hearing. The version that makes others look at you and say, I do not know what they did, but they are completely different. The version that makes you look in the mirror and see steady, direct, calm eyes. The eyes of someone who knows they are in control of their life. This is the turning point, the moment you step over the line between who you were and who you are becoming, the moment you are no longer the person who wants to change, you are the person who is changing. And when identity changes, life cannot stay the same. Before we move into the final part, affirm this new identity with a short, powerful sentence, like a warrior's oath. I rise as the strongest version of myself. Write that in the comments to mark the moment your identity is reborn. You have reached the end of this journey, not to listen for fun, not for entertainment, but to become a different person. If you feel a new energy inside you, a new clarity, a new determination, that is not random. That is the sign of real change, not change on the surface, change from the roots, from identity, from the way you see yourself. You are no longer just a viewer. You have become a participant, a trainee, someone who has stepped onto the path of discipline, someone who moves forward even when they are not perfect, someone who dares to face themselves, someone who is stronger than the person they were yesterday. And here is the final thing I want you to understand. This journey does not end here. This is only the beginning, a ritual, a declaration to yourself, I am ready to live my real life. If what you heard today touched you, made you clearer, stronger, more decisive, leave a mark. Not for me, not for the algorithm, but for yourself. So you remember that today was the day you chose to change. Write this sentence, I act like the strongest version of myself. That is not just a random comment. It is a commitment, an oath, a reminder that you will see every time you come back to this video. A milestone of your beginning. If you want to keep building discipline, peace, focus, and inner strength through Stoic philosophy, press the subscribe button, not because this channel needs more followers, but because you need a place that keeps you on track, a place that pulls you back when your mind becomes weak, a place that reminds you that you were not born to live an average life. If this video gave you strength, press like as an action that confirms you want to go further on this path. And if you know someone who is lost, discouraged, or needs one sentence to stand up again, share this video with them. One small action can change an entire life. You have listened enough. Now it is time to act. You do not need to be perfect. You only need to be consistent. You only need to move one step forward each day. Your power does not lie in big dramatic actions. Your power lies in the repetition of the right actions. Today, you have taken a bigger step than you think. Keep going, stay consistent, live as if you are truly leading your own life. And remember this, the strongest person is not the one who talks the most. The strongest person is the one who does the most. I will see you in the next video. Keep walking the path of becoming the strongest version of yourself.